Well, it's the midweek edition of the Breakfast Cafe right here on High Impact TV. Promises to be a bumper edition, I can tell you that. So if you're game, let's get this show on the road. In the meantime, though, I'm not flying solo. I got my co-pilot right opposite me, Olumide. But first, let me tell you who I am, in case you don't know. I am Vivian Oguche. You're welcome aboard. Olumide, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine. You hit me this morning with some hard news when you came on board.
Yes, the arrest of Dele Farotimi. And he has been speaking about it. He has been talking about it. Alleged threat, alleged this, alleged that. And, to see that he was arrested yesterday by the police, no statement yet. But according to the lawyers, they barged into these chambers and all that and arrested him. It's quite sad. Yeah. But we'll also get into that, of course, get our analysts to get into that. Good morning, I am Olumide Shokoya. Welcome to the Breakfast Cafe, your daily dose of morning inspiration and motivation. So we kickstart with banters and etiquette in a moment. Stay tuned.
This, I can tell you, is my favorite segment. I promise you. So today on Banter, so take a look at self-reflection. Yummy. Self-reflection is a conscious act of examining one's thoughts, feelings, and actions to gain a deeper understanding of oneself. It serves as a mirror to our inner world, allowing us to assess our strengths, weaknesses, values, and beliefs. In an increasingly fast-paced world, the practice of self-reflection offers a moment of pause, enabling personal growth and emotional balance. Olumide, you don't get this in the four walls of schools. They don't even teach this in schools.
Yes.
And it's the most important.
It's the most important. And I like this particular thing because just yesterday I was telling Sarah that I do this actually every day.
Fantastic.
When I'm at home, I take a time to meditate at what happened throughout the day or the previous day, and I try to critique myself and see what I did wrong and how I can, do better.
Yeah, so if you critique yourself, do you also celebrate yourself for the things you got right? Olumide, start celebrating yourself. When you critique, celebrate when you get it right.
All right. But I leave the celebration for compliments.
No, you do it too to yourself, really. It's not as if you're being proud or arrogant. You're saying, gosh, I did it and I'm grateful.
It's a good feeling, actually. It's actually a good feeling. So why is self-reflection important? One, enhance self-awareness. Self-reflection helps us, to look into ourselves, look inwardly into ourselves. And let me take it again. Self-reflection helps us to understand our behavior patterns, motivations, and emotional triggers. So by identifying these aspects, we can respond to situations more effectively rather than reacting impulsively. Now, second one is also interesting, better decision making. Reflecting on past decisions provides clarity on what worked and what didn't.
Which is what you do.
Yes, which is what I do. Now, this insight can also guide us in making better, more informed choices in the future. Personal growth. Yes, it also helps you grow personally. Through self-reflection, we recognize areas where improvement is needed, whether it is developing new skills, adopting healthier habits, or fostering better relationship. Reflection creates a roadmap for growth. For growth, rather.
That's good.
Now, the fourth one is emotional healing. Acknowledging and processing emotions. Through reflection, it helps you, of course, it helps in releasing negativity and fostering inner peace. I love this last one.
It's so good. You cannot overemphasize this very last point of emotional healing.
Yes.
See, if the person inside is hot, the world outside, there is no enjoyment. You have to heal inside before you can enjoy life outside.
Definitely. Yeah. I want to take this one.
Okay, so how to self-reflect, right? How do you practice self-reflection is what we're talking about now. Number one, set aside time. It is important. If you need to wake up very early, like I do, do it. Set aside time, dedicate a specific time daily or weekly for reflection. I do it daily. Now, even a few minutes of focused thought can be impactful. Olumide, they say this thing about focus. What you're focused on, you become.
Yes.
Focus is the key, right? So let's move on. Number two, ask the right questions. what did I achieve
Today.
today?
Yes.
Also ask, what could I have done differently? Also ask yourself, how did my actions align with my goals or values? The next question, what am I grateful for? Now, use tools. These are the tools to use when you want to self-reflect. Journaling is a powerful way to organize thoughts and track progress. Meditation and mindfulness practices can also deepen self-awareness. This is my forte, really. Number 4, be honest and kind. Right, Olumide, please. Self-reflection isn't about self-criticism. It's about learning and growing. Approach your thoughts with compassion and a willingness to improve. You want to take this one?
All right, seek feedback rather. Sometimes we need an external perspective to truly understand ourselves. Trusted friends, mentors, or even therapists can provide valuable insight. I know
The key word there is trusted.
Trusted. So I know for me, I have that one person who I always like to call, who will tell me what I do not want to hear.
Only one person.
Well, for now, one. I know he will tell me what I want someone who will tell me what I do not want to hear, not what I want to hear. So when I ask him certain things, he will tell me what I do not want to hear. He will tell me the truth. What I mean that what I do not want to hear is he will tell me the truth, the bitter truth. And that is what I want. I want someone who will look at me and tell me, no, this thing you did, it's not right. No, it's not right. Even if you think it's right, it's not right. This is what I want. You might struggle. I might even argue with him that, but deep in my mind, I know that what he's telling me is true.
And you trust his judgment.
And I trust his judgment.
Fantastic.
You know, so we should try and have that. It might be your mom or your dad or your brother or your friend or your uncle, just someone that you hold in high esteem, someone that you've watched that person, and that person is a model of goodness.
If the person's life has turned out well, you can trust
you can trust that person. Now, we have benefits of self-reflection. Practiced consistently, self-reflection fosters resilience, emotional intelligence, and confidence. It helps us connect with our authentic self, improving both personal and professional relationships. Moreover, it cultivates a sense of purpose as we align our actions with our values and long-term aspiration. Now, we also have consequences of not practicing self-reflection: lack of self-awareness, stagnation in personal growth, poor decision-making. Yes, poor decision-making, asterisk that. Emotional imbalance, also asterisk that. Unclear goals and purpose. I mean, all these are very important. Reduced problem-solving ability, increased regret and frustration.
That's painful.
Lack of accountability. Now, this particular one, unbalanced problem-solving, it's very important. That's what self-awareness does, because taking a step back and reflecting on certain things, you learn that, oh, this particular situation, I was jittery, I was frustrated. So next time when situations overwhelm me, take a deep breath and calm down.
I like it.
Because you now reflect that all the whole fuss I was making about this thing, it didn't turn out as bad as I thought it was. So why was I just, making a whole drama of it? So that's what self-reflection helps you. It helps you, have a better problem-solving skills.
The long and short of it is, get to know your authentic self, like you said, and then become the confident person you were meant to be. Gosh, I like it. Time for us to take a short break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the front pages of the national dailies. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. This is the newspaper review. Don't forget, you can also call us. The number will be displayed on your screen. You can also find a stream on YouTube and, of course, on X and at High Impact Studios. Now, let's start off with the Punch newspaper this morning. What does the Punch newspaper have for us? Quite interesting story. Still on tax reform. The sub-headline is tax reform. Tinubu orders review as protests persist in the National Assembly. Just one writer to that story. A rowdy session in House. Pro-Tinubu Northern Youth protest at National Assembly. Arewa Group rejects bill.
So when I said yesterday that we are growing democratically, is this not a classic example of a nation that is growing democratically? Now people are saying it's for or against. It's a debate.
Yes.
And the winner takes it, right? Now the president is saying, okay, let's listen. I love it. I love what's happening.
I like the rest of, because I think yesterday I heard a response from someone. I can't remember the person. He was saying by fire for force, by force.
No,
this bill is going to pass.
No, you don't do by
like
fire by force in a democratic environment. You don't.
Yes, so I like the fact that Tinubu is actually listening.
Yeah.
He's becoming he's being presidential. So thumbs up to that.
Yeah.
And I hope that, you know, when the bill finally comes back to the House, it will be favorable for majority. I won't say all, but at least majority members of the National Assembly.
So what are you saying? Do you even think
majority carries the vote?
Yeah, but are you saying that it will eventually be passed? Is that what you're saying? Are you forecasting that it will be passed?
It will be passed.
It will? You're sure?
I mean, when it is reviewed.
Okay, when it is reviewed.
Yes.
So now the review is, are we going to pass this bill or are we not going to pass this bill?
I think the review should be what should we take out
of it, okay.
And what should
we add?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
So, and this time around, during the review, I hope that all the governors, especially the aggrieved governors, would, let's even have the National Economic Council meeting.
Yeah.
Let them come and deliberate. All the governors saying they don't like this bill. Oh yeah, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
Especially the northern governors.
The northern governors. But even Lagos and Rivers that they said it's favoring more, let all of them come together. Because when you review, you might take out that thing that is favoring other states and put something that will favor the northern.
Then the other ones now will start protesting.
So let all of them come together. The 36 governors, let them come together. What do you want, and what do you not want? I think that will be better, and it will help us, you know, move ahead. But, you know, quite a good one from the president. Just beside the masthead, we have this one. It says, import duty, court cases, halt grounding of 60 private jets. That's on page 33. And of course, we have the Minister of Aviation here, that's Festus Keyamo. Just above that, we have this one. It says, Emefiele cronies acquired 753 duplex estates with forex kickback. This is coming from the EFCC just yesterday.
Wait, is Emefiele the person we were talking about yesterday?
I want to believe that allegedly. I mean, that's what.
Oh my gosh!
Here.
Because you remember it was 700 and something that you talked about.
753. So it's saying here now from the Punch that Emefiele and his cronies. So who are the cronies?
Who are the cronies? Why did they just call Emefiele's name and did not mention? Okay, no. Let's not just project here. We'll probably have to read the story in detail.
In detail.
Wow.
So moving on, we have this one. It says here, quite interesting, 80 billion naira fraud. Court orders former AMCOM MD's arrest. That's on page 12. There's a whole lot. The court will be busy this December or maybe January with all these cases. Now, below that, we have NLC slams in Wifiru as Akwa Ibom joins strike and Kaduna withdraws. So we have Akwa Ibom coming in, Kaduna withdrawing. It's quite interesting. But our sister station, High Impact 102.1, we have a guest who is going to discuss more on this ASU strike. So you might want to tune in for that. Now, moving on, we have this one. Air passengers lost 19,274 luggage in 6 months.
That's
the rate at which people misplace their luggage at the airport is quite alarming. And there has to be a review or maybe a reform or something done for that. Now, we have this one, just below that, we have at the birthday ceremony, Adeboye tips brother-in-law as next monarch. That's on page 25 of the Punch in newspaper. Beside that, we have Ekiti Commissioner of Police Defense Faro Timi's arrest in Lagos, alleged cyberbullying and defamation, page 5. just like we said earlier on at the beginning of the show, Dele Farotimi, lawyer, human rights activist, was arrested yesterday. So Ekiti Commissioner of Police is defending its alleging cyberbullying and defamation. Maybe when our guest comes on, we'll try
but
and
do you
look
know
into
what
that.
this now means? What you say online as well will be held against you, as well as whatever you say in person. That's what this administration is taking it to.
Yeah. You know, so then maybe we might want to now regulate social media if you really want to nip this in the bud, because if you have to be going after everybody, a lot of people are saying so many things. So what would you say about the opposition? So when, I mean, Party A or the representative of Party A says something now, are you going to arrest him also for cyberbullying or defamation? I mean, we really have to be clear on this so that we know where we're going. Now, the last one says reps order suspension as CBN mass retirement, 50 billion naira payoff. So, I mean, earlier on we had the report of mass retirement from the central bank, and I remember one of them saying he was offered, I think, 97 million as payoff. I think over 1,000 staffs will be retrenched.
Wow.
Yes, over 1,000 staff will be retrenched from the central bank, and, you know, it's causing a major, you know, stir or row.
So the House of Representatives is ordering a stay.
A stay. Well, let's see. But, you know, well, at the same time, they have their reasons for wanting to retrench over 1,000, maybe to reduce cost of governance, which I hope. But I think that's what I'm thinking.
I do hope if eventually they retrench this staff, they're going to be adequately compensated.
Yes. One of them complained that he was offered 97. So I don't know
97
whether
what?
Million naira.
Okay.
So I don't know whether that amount he's talking
really.
about is too small for him or too much.
Oh my gosh.
But he said 97 million naira as payoff for 4 years.
Shall we? Let's see. What's the major headline here? Can we have it on the screen? Right, thank you. It's the tax reform that takes the cake today. Northern senators demand suspension of action on bills. It's a demand, guys. Two riders to that story.
Yes.
Representatives silence spokesman over support for legislation, and Tinubu directs Justice Ministry to work with National Assembly on proposals. Would you say, Olumide, so far so good, the Green Chamber, the House of Representatives, is not a rubber stamp? They're doing their job. Okay, that's answer enough. Let's continue. Above the masthead, South Africa unveils 5-year visa for Nigerians and drops passport requirement. Also, Senate investigates 8.4 trillion naira withheld by NNPCL, 3.6 trillion naira unremitted taxes. NNPCL is in hot soup, if you ask me.
Honestly.
This other one says, Sultan can ask federal government to punish terror sponsors. This
is in reaction to the repentant
terrorists.
Yeah.
This is big deal. The Sultan is joining his voice to this call now. Do you see? This is the Sultan and the Christian Association of Nigeria
coming together.
Coming together. That's big deal. This says RepsPro planned retirement of 1,000 CBN staff and 50 billion naira payoff. Now, let me tell you, this is saying it is a 50 billion naira.
Total.
Okay, the total.
Yes.
Okay. Now, below that, Polytechnic with 142 students spent 600 million naira on personnel and overhead. You want to find out why that is big deal? Well, just grab a copy of the Daily Trust. Gunmen kill pastor on way to burial. Gosh, this is, it twists the mind. The pastor is going for a burial ceremony and then he gets killed on the way. May his soul rest. Finally, on the front page of the Daily Trust, we have this one here. ACF may lift suspension of NEC chairman Mama Nusuman today. And it's a wrap on the front page of the Daily Trust.
All right, let's move on to the Guardian newspaper this morning. On the Guardian newspaper, the subheading says, Compressed Natural Gas Scheme, the CNG. Infrastructure deficit slows CNG adoption amid $450 million investment. Now, we have an infographics here. Let me take the form one by one. We have number of CNG, just 150,000 only. Number of conversion centers is just 150.
In a population of over 200 million.
In 36 states. Now, we have number of vehicles converted is just 50,000, over 50,000. And CNG investment is $450 million. Now, we have number of CNG stations, refueling sites nationwide is just 58. We have states with CNG dispensing site is just 23 out of 36 states. And we have CNG manufacturing hub is just 3.
Well, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with just a step. So this is a step. I hope it continues to grow and grow until
and Dangote has also said he would invest in the CNG scheme. So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Now below that we have a Senate approves MTF, FSP, and as they probe NNPCL over 8.4 trillion naira subsidy. Yes. Let the whole Pandora box be open.
Yeah.
Let us know what is really happening.
Yeah.
Because we've been hearing this story about we saved 1 trillion, this trillion from subsidy removal. Let's see how much we have. And we're still borrowing, so let's actually know how much we've saved.
Yeah.
So we know where we're going. Now, moving on, we have Federal Poly with 142 students, 154 staff, incur 638 million naira overhead cost. And you wonder why? Check page 3, news page 3 of The Guardian. Court orders ex-AMCON MD's arrest over alleged 76 billion naira fraud. That's on news page 5. Sell 51% stake of refineries to IOCs. Pegasin advises government. I'll take that again. Sell 51% stake in refineries to IOCs, that's the International Oil Communities. Pegasin advising the federal government.
Why to IOCs?
Why not to local investors? The IOC, Dangote has always complained that the IOC frustrated him when he was trying to set up the Dangote refinery. So why the IOCs? Why would we want to have international communities controlling what we own? I mean, talk about productivity in the country. Moving on, we have why Nigeria and South Africa must lead continent's transformation. This is coming from Tinubu. You might want to read about this. It's an interesting one. It's on news page 3. Beside that, we still have tax reform bills, chaos in House of Reps, Gumi Kuka back proposal as Patami and others kick. So we have different people for and against this tax reform bill, which is a good one. Owners of Abuja duplexes unknown, says EFCC. So we have two
conflicting reports.
Two conflicting reports. Quite interesting. Shallow graves discovered as security dislodge IPOB ESN camps in Imo. That's on news page 8. And I think that's all we have from the Guardian newspaper this morning.
All right. Let's quickly take a look at the Vanguard. Do we have it? Let's find out what is on the front page of the Vanguard. Thank you, guys. Of course, is the tax reform bills. Kuka at CITN, NECA, Pengasin suggest way forward. Lots of riders to that story, but we'll probably come back to that. This other story says how Nigeria can turn natural resources from curse to blessing. I'm interested in that story, and it's coming from Khan, the Sultan, and the SGF. We also have this one here above the masthead. It says Obi Falano condemn arrest of activist Farutimi. Of course, he's their fellow. This says NCDMB achieves 56% local content in Nigeria's oil and gas industry. Thank you. Page 19 has details of that. Also, BNC. This story is coming from the BNC now. South Africa relaxes the visa rules for Nigerian tourists and business people. Right above that, we have this one here about the cooking gas, and it says average price of 12.5 kilograms rises by 56%. That is based on an investigation by the Vanguard. Page 9 has details of that. We also have this one here. Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State signs Lagos electricity bill. Interesting. Below that, 27 years after, Adeleke presents staff of office to Oba Alabi. Let's also see this one here that's coming from Southeastern residents. It's about Simon Ekpa, and he says Simon Ekpa must answer for his atrocities but release Nnamdi Kanu. This is very clear. This is, in fact, Undingbo, what's it called? Ohaneze. Undingbo. They also say, we know Kanu, but Simon. So the page 23 has details of that. Also, Pengasin says, do not expect a drop in petrol price. That is alarming.
That is alarming, quite concerning.
Yeah. Also, for sports lovers, Osimhen turns down Man United January move. Why? Are you kidding me? Page 29 has details of that story, and that wraps it up for us on the front page of the Vanguard, and of course the first half of the newspaper review. When we come back with a guest analyst as we delve deeper. Promises to be interesting. Stay with us.
Welcome back. It's still the newspaper review on High Impact Television. And of course, don't forget you can also call. You can take part in the discussion by calling the number which will be displayed on your screen. So let's welcome our guest. We have Francis Ikweruwo. He is a fellow African Liberty. So glad to have you this morning. And welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Can you hear us, Francis?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for having me.
All right. So glad to have you. So let's start off with this tax reform bill. It has caused a lot of brouhaha, rowdy sessions in the National Assembly. But good news, President has called for a review. So he has backtracked and he said, let's review this thing and see what we can. So what are your thoughts? What are your hopes? What do you think might be reviewed? Do you think this bill would be actually reviewed to favor others? And what do you think the federal government should do or the president should do at this point?
Thank you for that question. I think the problem is not, according to the chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee, he said that this bill is actually a people's tax bills. So the problem now is not the other bills, the Nigeria tax bill, the personal income tax bill. The problem is the VAT issue, the sharing of the VAT between the state government and the federal government. So as for everything, the concerns of the state government are legitimate, and so the federal government needs to put measures in place to ensure accountability, to ensure that how will the government ensure a sharing formula between the state and between the federating units, which are the states and the federal government.
All right, so if I may ask now, since you mentioned it has to do with the sharing formula, what is the existing sharing formula on that bill? I think if I'm correct rather, I think it was 55%. I'm not sure if that is still the sharing formula. 55% goes back to the state. Is that correct?
I think 55. I'm not sure of the exact sharing formula now, but if I should, I think it's between 90%. The state now needs to remit 90%. I'm not quite sure of the sharing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. There's no problem. But do you think eventually that the bill is going to be passed?
Yes, the bill is going to be passed, but the stakeholders, the lawmakers should ensure that for every good thing, it needs to be people, the appropriate quarters need to be consulted before the bills should be passed. Because there's no point, people say that the bills have been long overdue and it's going to benefit the people, but then there should be a slow, there should be more consultations such that all the systems, all the parties in place properly get the reward of the bills. I
agree. There should be what's it called now? Thorough stakeholder consultation before the bill is passed. Now let's talk about the NNPCL for a little while. There's been massive calls for the NNPCL to be probed over unremitted funds. What's your take on this?
the measures, there should be a proper measure to ensure that people in this system are accountable and are transparent. So they should, of course, they should be probed in a manner that ensure that because this is our collective, this is the collective funds of Nigerians.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Now, from the Guardian newspaper, a very important statement was made by Khan, Sultan, and the SGF. It says, how Nigeria can turn natural resources from curse to blessing. So let me remove that word curse and put mismanagement. So how do you think at this point, I mean, one of the major things that we are facing is the fuel and the natural resources, the crude oil, the refineries. How do you think Nigeria can actually manage its resources? Talking about, fuel prices and all that. Let me also add this one coming in from Pegasus saying, don't expect drop in petrol price. What's your thought on this?
In Nigeria, the problems we've always had is about mismanagement. So it's not that the actual resources are not there, and the people at the end of affairs are the one mismanaging our resources. Let me take it back to the tax reform bills. The problem is not that the tax reform bills are not good enough; they are good enough. But what are the measures that should be put in place to ensure that every party involved, all parties involved, are properly are accountable, are transparent? And this is one of the issues that we have in Nigeria. The problem is individualistic. People are not. Some individuals are not accountable. So when a group of individuals are not accountable, it leads to a collective problem that affects the general people.
Okay.
All right. So I mean, take for instance this new Port Harcourt refinery that has been opened. There's so much brouhaha going on. There's so much controversy. Some marketers are complaining that their tankers have not been loaded. Some people are saying this, that. I mean, why the whole mystery to this Port Harcourt refinery? Do you think that there's something we're not being told, or what is actually going on? Do you think it's actually fully running?
The problem with when a new thing gets started, I think it is expected that we expect problems like this. These are teething challenges that come with a refinery being set up. So I think the people should be patient with the government, because this is just running. This is just up and running. So with time, everything is just going to kick back and start running. It's expected when you set up a business or when you set up an enterprise, it's expected that you have these teething problems, these challenges at the earlier phase of the industry. So these problems are not unexpected. There are problems that even in advanced countries, these things happen. And so we need to just ensure, we need to be patient and trust that this refinery is in good hands.
Yeah, but for how long, though? How long will you continue to have this kind of problems? You talked about advanced countries, though, that you have the same thing. But these people, they know how to implement policies. They put things in place and ensure that when these policies are implemented, it goes smoothly. But you talked about teething problems, right? Which is true. Would you say is the same thing Nigeria is facing regarding the CNG conversion? There's been lots of pitfalls. Would you also classify that as teething problems?
No, I wouldn't classify that entirely, but I think Nigerians, our policymakers, our stakeholders are just getting started in all of this. So they need perhaps some time to get their act in order. That is what I would say.
If you say they need time, I mean,
what
we heard that
Yeah.
President Tinubu has prepared for this, to be a president. He has been preparing for, maybe even before I was born, he has been preparing for this to become the president. And everybody thought, and what we were told was that what he did in Lagos, or what he transformed in Lagos, he would replicate that when he gets to the federal level. So I mean, how much more time does he need? How much more time does he have? Or how much time rather does he need, to be prepared or to get this thing right?
I wouldn't say for sure. I cannot speak for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. but I think he met some problems on ground. So, and I'm not advocating, I'm not saying he's doing poorly, of course, and I'm not saying he's doing well either. But what I'm saying is President Tinubu met some problems on grounds and is making measures to ensure that these problems are properly tackled and taken care of.
All right. So
I see you're being very diplomatic.
It's very, I just patriotic, being patriotic.
Yeah.
Now, so let's look at this one. Sultan and Christian Association of Nigeria has asked the federal government to punish terror sponsors. I know we have this repentant bandit or repentant terrorist scheme or something, reintegration and all that. I mean, we saw a video recently in a particular northern state and all that, and they were shaking hands with the governor and all that. But now, the Sultan is coming out. I mean, two sides are coming out, two religious heads are coming out to say, punish these guys, punish these people for terrorism. What's your thought on that? Is that the right direction Nigeria should take?
If we were trying the same thing over and over again and it's yielding the same result, I think a new measure should be applied.
Yes.
For instance, over the years, we've always been, pardoning these terrorists and all, bringing them, integrating them back into the community. And we've seen cases where terrorists are integrated back into the community and they still go ahead and cause another problem. So I think the problem is these people should not be immediately integrated back to the society. They should be confined in an area for as long as it is certified by medical practitioners that these people are because sometimes it can be a psychological issue even. So they should be confined in an area for as much time as possible before medical practitioners can say, okay, these people can go back to the community. And I wouldn't say they should be entirely exonerated without being punished. I think there should be measures in place to actually punish them, and confining them in an area is an act of punishment for as long as they are fit to be integrated back to the society.
Now let's talk about this area you want them to be confined in. Are you suggesting a correctional center or like a rehabilitation center?
Yes, of course. Yes, that is what I'm suggesting. So a rehabilitation center where they can probably maybe learn new skills, because it's been said that these problems are terrorism is also a response to lack of skills. I think I read it somewhere. The fact that these people do not even have the manpower to do some certain things by themselves. So they should be confined in a rehabilitation center, trained, reorientated before being integrated back to the society.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about another big story, the arrest of lawyer and human rights activist Dele Farotimi by the police. Now, they have slammed cyberbullying and defamation on him. Yeah. What's your thoughts on this? What came to your mind when you first heard this arrest?
For years, journalists have been bullied, abused. Human rights fighters, human rights advocates have been always being targeted at, and the government has been silent about it, because sometimes the government too is not happy with the fact that these human rights advocates are terrorizing their terrorizing in quotes their administration. The administration. Say for Fisayo Suyombo that was arrested I think a few days back.
Yes.
And with bandits, can I say bandits now, with people that are destroying the oil refinery.
Oil bunkers.
And it took the oil bunkers, thank you. And it took the efforts of Nigerians, tagging and retweeting free Fisayo now before the government. I mean, 3 days later, before the Nigerian army responded that Fisayo was arrested, Fisayo Suyombo was arrested with the oil bunkers. So issues like this would also, I think, would take the collective effort of Nigerians to push for, Nigerians should not be complacent about pushing for the release of these advocates and human rights fighters. So it's not even the efforts, it's not even the sole effort of Femi Falana or other human rights advocates for the release of people that are actually fighting for our collective peace or safety in Nigeria. It's not just a one man's effort. We shouldn't leave the people to, the few people to advocate for all of this.
Seeing as you're diplomatic and all, let me put you on the spot. Do you think these security operatives are doing the bidding of the federal government when they arrest these people like Fisayo and Dele, who are very, very outspoken against the government of the day?
I think the people are doing, the security operatives are doing their jobs. Now, it is normal when you find someone at the scene where the person shouldn't be found, because of course it's an investigative journalism. Arrest will be made where everybody will be packed. But after some time, but the problem the problem with that was that it took them 3 days before they eventually announced that Fisayo was in their custody. So these people were doing their jobs, but then they were not being upfront about doing their job. So they were like, okay, I'm doing my job, but I don't want these people to know that this is what is actually.
No, let's not focus on Fisayo. Let's talk about, for example, Dele, who is not an investigative journalist, but an activist who is very, very outspoken against the government of the day. When someone like that is arrested, do you think the security operatives are doing the bidding of the federal government?
I wouldn't entirely say they are doing the bidding of the federal government, but I think over the years, security operatives often feel that, maybe based on the advice of their superiors, security operatives often feel threatened by human rights activists. And they believe that, they somewhat believe that human rights activists pose a problem or threat to the government of the day. So that is what is happening.
All right, so in response, or shall I say in future, in reaction to all this now, it seems as if one comes online now and said something, criticizes the government, says something the government doesn't like, they will just pick you up, because that's how it's looking right now. Do you think this is a direction this particular administration should be taking, knowing fully well that during the former administration of Goodluck Jonathan, they were also vocal, they were also activists, they were also against the government, they were the opposition. Now they are in government now, and it seems as if, I mean, should I say they are biting their hands, or, I mean, what do you think?
The government is to be condemned for picking people on the street, or picking advocates, or picking human rights advocates, fine and good. But people will not, because of that, people should not, because of that, stop protesting, stop fighting for what is good and what is right. So even if you, the direction the government is taking, of course, is not the right direction that should be taken, but then it shouldn't deter people from fighting for what is good, because for what is good, is what is worth fighting for, yeah, regardless of the situation and the circumstances around.
I agree.
I like what you said now, but I also want to put you on another spot. Now, you said that despite the fact that they are picking these activists, people should not relent in protesting. So how would people be encouraged when these people they look up to, like Dele, are picked up, Dele Farotimi, Sowore, and these guys, they are being picked up daily. I mean, Sowore spends, you know, every three months
in prison.
In prison.
Yeah.
So how does this, even Joe Ajaero, at one point he was picked up. So how would people even be motivated to even want to come out to protest when the people they see who are leading, setting the pace, are being picked up by the government?
That is why I said earlier that it is not a one-man show. Even Yele Sowore has enjoyed the support of the people whenever he is arrested. So people come out to say, okay, we should release this man. This man hasn't done anything bad except advocating for the good of the people, and that should not be anything bad. So it's not a one-man show. When a leader, a human rights activist in that line comes out to criticize the government and he gets arrested, the people must rally support around him to ensure that he gets released through online activism and every other form of protest that is needed.
Yeah, but let's flip the coin a little bit, right? As we wrap this up, this is not to say that there are some people who take advantage of the situation to push their own agenda. What would you then say to people that spew insightful comments online or in person when it comes to the stability of a nation? What advice would you give as to balancing what's right and what's insightful and how to go about it?
I believe ignorance is is a disease. So most times people do not know that. Some people do know. Some people that spill all these comments, these incendiary comments online, do not know that the people that are fighting for them are fighting for their own good. Yeah, even though some people may have their own agenda for fighting, which is also legitimate. Human beings do not do things completely do not do completely selfless act. So some of the actions, or few of the actions, might be motivated by pure selfish reasons, which is good. So we would not say because of that we should still comment that okay, these people are actually after their own agenda, they are pushing their own agenda. But when we know that the utilitarian outcome of it is that they are fighting for the good of a mass number of people, which is actually the most same thing that everybody should almost acknowledge.
Okay, I don't know if I understand that though, but I'll let you wrap it up.
Well, thank you.
What I'm saying, okay, I have to repeat. What I'm saying is
but that's as much time we have. But thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. We'll probably have to bring you back on board. But you've been very, very brilliant on the show today. We appreciate it. That was our guest analyst, Francis. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Olumide.
Yes, quite. I think he was trying to be
I know.
patriotic. I will not say diplomatic. Was trying to be patriotic as much as possible. But all in all, you know, it's for the benefit of the people. That's what matters. Yeah. That's what democracy is all about. It's always people, people. The definition is people, people. Government for the people, by the. So people has always been constant there. And until we start until we start putting the people first, I mean, we are not really practicing true democracy. Yeah. But, well, we will be optimistic about it. Yeah. This is as much as we can take on the newspaper review. Stick around. We still have a whole lot more coming up on the Breakfast Cafe.
As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you peak in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, "What a ride." High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
High Impact Radio, 102.1 FM. The future is now.
Well, if you just joined us, it's the Breakfast Cafe right here on High Impact TV. I am Vivian, and in a short while you will see him, my co-pilot Olumide. He's right opposite me. Now, this segment is very interactive. We call it Views from the Net. We push out a question on social media, and we have you make your contributions. Interesting, I must tell you. So this was what we asked. What are some meaningful ways to create lasting memories during the festive period beyond material gifts? This is a brainy one. Let me try Olumide, who is very brainy, to see if he has an answer. Do you have an answer?
Besides chicken and...
That is not material.
I can't think.
Let's read the comments.
Yes.
Maybe, gosh, the producer is so materialistic. He's saying money. But let's see what the people are saying. Aha, this is it. You see, immaterial things. This person here says quality time with loved ones. Spend undistracted time with family and friends, engaging in deep conversations, playing games, like we had yesterday, or simply enjoying each other's company. Shared experiences such as cooking a meal together or going on a holiday walk often create stronger bonds than physical gifts ever could. Savior from Lagos. Your name is appropriate for you, Savior. That was a beautiful one. Thank you.
Well, I like this one. This one says volunteer or give back. Yeah. Volunteering at a local shelter, donating to those in need, or organizing a charity drive can create a sense of shared purpose. Helping others during a time of abundance can be a deeply fulfilling way, to create memories that are meaningful and impactful for everyone involved. This is Damilola from Aja. Quite
fantastic.
interesting. Volunteering.
Yeah.
Charity. fundraising.
It's
These
good.
are things that, you know.
Oh, maybe that's what the producer, Dami, was saying, money. So when you're generous, you know, during the festive season, you could give to those in need. Okay, noted. This one says create traditions, establishing new traditions, whether it's a special festive meal, an annual holiday movie marathon. Wow, I like that. Or an outdoor activity that can provide a sense of continuity and anticipation. Traditions create a sense of belonging and offer the opportunity for future generations to share in them. David from London, beautiful. It reminds me of these movies we watch, especially when it has to do with the Black Americans, where they have these family reunion and all of that. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. You know, Christmas reminds me of people always going to the beach. I don't know whether we have beach left in Lagos.
Of course, we do Olumide.
We have quite a few of them, you know, as a result of the Lagos Calabar and all that. You know, a lot of them were destroyed and all that. So, but that was what Christmas was all about. You know, turkey, I don't even know. Turkey right now is about 100,000. I don't know how true that is.
So people might be boycotting turkey this Yuletide.
I'd probably go for chicken. Chicken, I heard chicken's also like 25 or 20. The producer is saying egg or fish. That doesn't mean
What are you saying?
Christmas.
Like
Egg or fish?
On my plate of rice is just going to be egg or fish. No.
Well, Christmas usually you have this big turkey on the table, and you know whenever a guest comes, you just cut past a bit. You have a big cake, chocolate cake or something, and you know to entertain your guests.
Yeah.
But these days, I mean, you barely see a Christmas tree or lights. Very few places are hanging Christmas lights.
Olumide, this is the first time it's happening in Lagos.
It's a low-key
Lagos
celebration.
during the Yuletide used to be very lit.
Yes.
But I don't see, just few places you see the Christmas lights.
Well, I guess it's a low-key celebration. Just thank God that you are
All right.
surviving. I know. Now, this next one says, focus on acts of kindness. Simple gestures like writing heartfelt letters, sharing compliments, or helping neighbors with holiday preparations can leave lasting impressions. These small moments can remind everyone that the season is about more than just gifts, but about kindness and generosity. Kayode from Egbeda, quite interesting.
It's a beautiful picture Kayode just painted there. This one says, capture moments through photos or journals. Sometimes the best memories are those we document. Taking candid photos, creating scrapbooks, or keeping a festive journal can help preserve the essence of the season. Looking back on these memories can evoke warmth and nostalgia long after the season has passed. John from Aja. I mean, that's what it's about. It's not just something that's tied to the Yuletide. These memories create a lasting effect, which is what it's all about, really.
I remember, just to put this out there, I remember last year, President Tinubu made a train ride free. I hope we will get something like that this year. Because I benefited from it.
you did?
Yes, I traveled from Lagos to Ibadan and it was free.
How was it?
It was beautiful.
So
Though I've taken the train a couple of times, but it was beautiful. Though the crowd was massive, I know you have to register for free.
Okay.
If you want that free ride, you have to register. So the crowd was, a lot of people did not know. People thought that when you get there, you were just going to be allowed in, so there was too much crowd, it was rowdy, but I really enjoyed that, you know, free ride.
But I'm talking about the coach itself, the train.
Beautiful.
Okay, good. I wanted
It's
to hear
comfortable.
that. Oh, wow.
It's comfortable. It's the safest. Actually, train is supposed to be the safest ride of transportation. You know.
So this is what I'm going to say, and this is not me taking sides. Kudos to the former presidency of Muhammadu Buhari and his deputy, Oshibajo, and the Minister of Transportation, Amechi, who brought back this train ride. It's good.
So I hope we will get something like that, you know, for a birthday, a Christmas present from the president. Now this next one says, share personal stories. Storytelling is a powerful way to create meaningful connections. Sharing memories from past holidays, personal milestones, or family history can deepen relationships and provide new perspective. It helps individuals feel valued and connected, especially across generations. This is Olumide from Motion. I remember, you know, growing up, we don't do it much now because most of my cousins and they've all traveled out of the country. But back then, Christmas, we all come together, extended family, uncles, aunties, we have this celebration, Christmas celebration, overnight.
Wow, like a vigil.
Yes, like a vigil. You know, during the day, we kill probably, a carnival, something, carnival like you know, stuff where there's lots of food, drinks.
Over the night.
Over the night. We just put a canopy, you know, in front of the street, in front of our house, and you know, the children are playing, blowing fireworks and all that. It used to be. We used to look forward to that, but these days, well.
Wow, I can imagine. I'm having pictures running through my mind right now.
Lots of food, drinks. I mean, imagine you eating and drinking overnight.
Gosh.
It was
Maybe
very
something I should
interesting.
experience before you know. Well, this one says, focus on experiences over gifts, right? Consider giving experiences rather than material possessions. Tickets to a concert, a trip, or a class that brings people together to learn something new. These shared experiences create bonds that last far beyond the moment. Femi from Lagos. I like these bonds that last far beyond the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, it is beautiful. So it doesn't just take you, say, it's not just limited to the Christmas period. It goes beyond. I like it.
Now this one says, practice mindfulness and gratitude. Taking a moment to pause, reflect, and be grateful for what you have rather than what you receive. You know, it can create a deep sense of appreciation. Practicing mindfulness together, whether through meditation rather, or simply being present in the moment. It can foster a deeper connection with those around you. This is Nifemi from Yabatek. I must also remind you, in as much as we are in the mood for celebration, January is 52 days.
Olumide, why are you doing this? You're spoiling the moment, I'm telling you. Listen to what Nifemi just said. Mindfulness. Live in the moment.
But don't forget.
Forget 52 days away. Just don't even bring it.
Spend your money.
No, enjoy now. Enjoy now. Tomorrow, the producers, guys, Dami is saying tomorrow we sort it. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But there's something Nifemi did, Nifemi from Yabatek. He made a differentiation between what you have and what you receive.
Yes.
It's important, it's beautiful.
It's important.
Thank you.
I think, you know, towards the end of the year, people should take time out to reflect from the beginning to December. What have you achieved? Try and, you know, be grateful for what you've achieved.
What you have,
what you have, you know, so that you know, next year you won't enter next year thinking, oh, I didn't achieve anything. You actually did. You just have to look inward to see that, to understand that you actually achieved something.
I should pay you money for that. It's good. This one says connect virtually with loved ones far away. If family members or friends live far away, the festive period can be an opportunity to reconnect virtually, whether it's through video calls, virtual game nights, or an online cooking class. Oh, I like that. These shared virtual experiences can make distant relationships feel close and create meaningful memories that transcend. Guys, take note of that word. Meaningful memories that transcend physical distance. This is Grace from Lagos. Thank you, Grace.
I quite agree. I got a surprise call from one of my distant cousins last year, December, and it was quite interesting, you know, to reconnect and you know, talk about. So we had to talk about so many things that had happened through the short break we had. You know, it was beautiful.
How long was this call?
It was about an hour.
Wow, that's a long one.
It was beautiful. So I understand what
Grace is saying.
Yes,
I think you're up next.
This next one says, reflect on the year gone by. Take time during the festive period to reflect on the past year, its highs, its lows, excuse me, and what you have learnt. Sharing these reflections with loved ones can strengthen bonds, it can promote gratitude, it can create a collective sense of growth. This reflection can be done through family discussions, journaling, or even shared year-in review video or slideshows. Mariah from Lagos. I like that slideshow.
Shared-in review.
Yes.
Slideshows and video. Wow.
And videos, yes.
Okay.
Things that have, you know, pictures that means you must have been taking a lot of pictures throughout the year, so it will remind you, maybe celebrations, birthdays, naming ceremonies, weddings, you take all that. So at the end of the year, there's a slideshow that is played for the whole family.
Wow,
okay. It's very interesting.
That's good.
It's actually bonded too.
That's the thing. Dami, you're on point this morning. The producer just asked, should there be good memories or bad? Because when I heard slideshows, it's like I'm in a conference and they're doing this slideshow. So let me ask you, say you're speaking on behalf of Grace. Would there be good memories or bad memories or a mixture? Everything that happened.
Mixture.
Okay.
It's a mixture because it's a review.
Yeah.
It's a review of everything that happened. So you shouldn't just take the good ones. Take the good ones, some of the bad ones. So it helps you. So when you see those bad ones, you remember, oh, this is what I learned. This is what I went through, and this is what I learned. Okay. It helps you reflect that, okay, this is how my year ended.
Okay.
So I think it should be a mixture of everything.
That's a valid answer. Are you going next?
Yes.
Okay.
So this next one says, have a no-gift holiday. Instead of exchanging material gifts, try a no-gift holiday where the focus is entirely on experiences, conversations, or acts of kindness. You could write letters to each other, spend the day volunteering, or simply enjoy the time in nature. This approach emphasizes the importance of connection over consumption and often leads to more meaningful and memorable interactions. Balaji from Yaba Tech.
I like it.
Food is still essential.
Food is essential, but my favorite part there is spend time in nature. Let's go bird watching. It's beautiful, right? Yes, bird watching. Now, this one says, host a gratitude circle. At some point during the holiday season, gather your loved ones for a gratitude circle where everyone shares something they are thankful for. This could be a simple reflection on the past year or appreciation for the people around you. This practice fosters positive emotions and helps reinforce the importance of gratitude and togetherness. Stephen from Jos. Do you know that in some families, Stephen, thank you, that was good. Some families, they don't even know, for example, the parents do not know how to say I love you to the kids. The kids do not know how to say I love you to the parents. The siblings do not even know how to say I love you to each other. Do you know how beautiful it is when people know that you love them when they hear you say it?
I've experienced something like that.
Yeah?
Because my dad was very, very strict.
Oh, he was?
He was very... So I think the first time he told me he loved me, it sounded weird. It sounded
You were
very
shocked?
weird. Yes.
Oh.
Because this is someone that I respect him. He was very strict. So, you know, he was then... So that day, I think he was trying to be soft. He felt maybe it's been hard on me, so we were in the car, he was talking to me, you know, and everything, talking that, you know, he wants me to change and he loves me, that most of the things he's doing is for my own good. So when he said that thing, he loved me, I was like, I'm used to you scolding me.
Wow.
It sounded very weird, but I enjoyed it.
Good.
And it stuck.
You see now.
It stuck to my head that. So I can say that, yes, my dad has told me not just once, a couple of times that he loves me. And, you know, it helps. It actually helps.
It helps.
It helps.
It makes you, it helps you go through bad times.
It helps you go
with
through
strength.
bad times. You know.
Yeah.
So I think I have an idea for what people can do this Christmas. You know, write down names of people who have touched your life this year and write a small note to them. A small thank you, appreciation note
Do you
to
want to
each one of them.
give us an example? What it says, for example, thank you for all you do. I love you.
I love you.
Simple as that.
Thank you for always being there for me at the time when I was low. Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for motivating me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to learn. So. Just think about people who have touched your life this year and write just a sentence. It doesn't have to be an apology or something.
Yeah.
Just a sentence. An appreciation.
You see, you did it. At the beginning, you didn't know what to say. But you see now, this is a beautiful one. Gosh, it's immaterial.
It's immaterial.
But it's powerful.
It goes a long way.
Yeah.
Words, they say, speak louder. So that's all we have right now from Views from the Net. We still have a whole lot more coming up on the Breakfast Cafe. Stick around.
Prospicians. Prospicians. Prospicians.
Tease your taste buds from a world of delectable choices. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
Welcome to the high side of life. Join us every day at High Impact 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station.
I just want to be
As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, what a ride. High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Cafe. If you're just joining us, this is where we get to discuss topical issue. The topic for today is a very important one. It is on the newspapers. It has to do with the ASU strike. Now, the topic is ASU strike, the significance of collective bargaining in addressing worker grievances. It's quite an interesting topic, but before we go into it, let me give you a backstory. Now, the recent declaration of an indefinite strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, Saidu Zunga University, Zazu, Bauchi, underscores the critical role of collective bargaining in resolving worker grievances. Now, despite the numerous attempts to engage the university administration and government on issues on better conditions of service, ASU Zazu observed a lack of readiness and commitment from authorities, prompting the strike action. Now, this situation highlights the importance of effective dialogue and negotiation in addressing labor disputes. Collective bargaining serves as a vital tool to foster mutual understanding, ensure fair treatment, and prevent disruption in essential sectors like education, emphasizing its necessity for suitable solutions to recurring grievances. Quite an interesting situation we have here. I mean, ASU strike has always been something that it has become a yearly thing now. And one would think that, you know, during this new administration, we will stop it. But let's welcome our guest. He is Dr. Simon Igbinedion. He is an associate professor, Faculty of Law. So glad to have you on this program this morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, listener. My name is actually Simeon.
Simeon, I beg your pardon.
Aha. Yeah. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much for correcting that.
Thank you.
All right, so now, just like I said before you came in, this ASU strike, it's becoming a year thing. I remember 2 years ago, I interviewed Professor Ayola, I think he's the president for ASU UI chapter, and he brought documents, signed agreements between the federal government and ASU, signed agreements that they were going to do so, but they never did it. So my question is, why are we having recurring strikes every now and then? Is it that the federal government are always reneging on the agreement? Is it that they are not always agreeing? Or, I mean, seems to be the problem?
Well, the problem is simple. You have actually answered the question. The federal government has always been reneging. The government has been entering into negotiations with ASU, supposedly in good faith, but ultimately, from the benefit of hindsight, the government has not really been doing so with, in good faith, because the government is used to taking ASU through all sorts of negotiations, and because ASU is an association of refined members and peace-loving members. They always give the government the time. They always have this feeling that, well, let's give the government a chance. Let's try it out. And you see that some negotiations have lasted up to 3 years, giving ASU members false hope that something will happen, something good will happen at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, with the agreement concluded, the government will refuse to sign or implement. They will not go back to square one. That has been the tactic of the government. The government has not displayed good faith. That is why ASU continues to struggle, to advocate for better conditions of service. And we are still here. And it's not just this government alone, from successive governments to date, the story remains the same.
All right, so if I may ask you now to the main question, what are the main demands of ASU in the context of the Saidu Zunga University strike?
The main demands, that is, I think, go on, yes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I think the ASU's main demand, they are there. The one is the 2009 agreement. That is the foundational agreement.
2009?
Agreement. That was the agreement. There was an agreement, 2009 agreement. But thereafter, the government refused to sign or refused to enforce. The government now said that the agreement was a gentleman's agreement. That is another way of saying that, look, we are not bound by that agreement. Despite the fact that the government took ASU through all the negotiating processes. 2009. Then thereafter, when the government refused to enforce that agreement. Then there was a breakdown in there was then there was no industrial peace anymore in the universities. So what then happened was that when there was a strike, of course, that is the last resort for ASU. When they now embarked on strike, the government now said, okay, we cannot really, enforce the agreement because of the terms there. We don't have the money and all that. So let's renegotiate. In the spirit of openness, ASU agreed. The government has set up 1, 2, 3, I think the four committees separately to renegotiate the negotiated agreement. And at every point in time, the government has always been, when the committee submitted their report, the government will reject it. The government kept on rejecting the final agreement that has been reached by the committee it has set up. So that is where we are. The demands of ASU, the government knows them. There are many, but the government knows them.
All right, Doctor, let me come in here. Must it be a strike? Is there any other way, really? But before you answer, though, do you think that when there's going to be a meeting, when there are calls for people to come to the round table, do you think it should not just be ASU and the federal government? Do you think the legislature and the judiciary should be involved? Do you think when they make this agreement, it should be binding by law?
Yes, the essence of going into an agreement is to avert industrial disarmament. There is a working agreement. There is an implied agreement that we are going into this negotiation for a particular purpose, and that purpose is to ensure that there is industrial peace, so that our demands will be met. That is it. Why do people go into agreement? To avert war, so to speak. So now there is the underlying agreement, understanding that we are going into, the government knows too, ASU knows, that we are going into this agreement for the purpose of ensuring that these demands, these foundational demands are met. Demands, they are germane. Demands as to revitalizing the university system. Demands as to upgrading the welfare package for lecturers. Demands as to paying what is due to us, to ASU. So now, when you enter into an agreement and you have concluded, good faith demands that you sign so that it will be implemented peacefully. But at that, having gone through series of processes of negotiations, maybe 2 or 3 years, then at the end of the day, you say, well, sorry, I cannot implement this agreement.
Yeah,
because I cannot fund.
Which is why I'm asking. So good faith in law doesn't cut it. Now I'm saying, should this become a law when you have this agreement? Should it be binding by law so that
the agreement? Yeah, it should be. Yeah, that's a reasonable expectation.
Yeah,
because you cannot just take me through 3 years of negotiation. Because ordinarily, before I agreed to that negotiation, I was embarking on strike, which is my right to do. But you now say, okay, please call off the strike. We want peace. We want you to continue working. Let's agree. Let's come and talk. Then after the talk shop for 2-3 years, then you are not telling me that, look, sorry, I cannot. It's like we are just wasting my time. It is not fair. It is not fair. It is unlawful, really, because law expects that people who are fighting, people who are in contention, law expects that. You don't have to bring everything, all the cases to court. You can even settle out of court, and the court will recognize that. You can settle out of court, and the court will recognize it. So, but the government not signing it means that, look, I was just going on a jamboree. I was just trying to play you to make you waste your time, exhaust you, and of course, you go back to work. That is it.
All right, so Professor Simon, I would like to ask, we are in a new dispensation. I remember Professor Oshodeke complained of the former administration, the Minister of Education, at a point he walked out during the meeting, during one of these meetings. So he complained a whole lot about the Minister of Education. He complained a whole lot, expressed dissatisfaction about the former administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. So how would you describe the body language of this administration towards ASU, towards negotiation, towards collective bargaining? Do you say it's fair? Or would you say they are not?
I wouldn't say so, but I think in as much as we keep our fingers crossed, I think the government is more than 1 year old. And the government, I believe, prepared for this job. And they knew what's on ground during Buhari's regime. So having come to power, why, and you know what ASU went through, and having come to power, what have you done? Must you even say, okay, let us go to that agreement, for example? Why should you wait for ASU to strike, to be telling you, reminding you over and over again that there is problem in the ivory tower? Why can't you use why can't you, through governmental policy, carry out reforms? For example, on its own, the government increases the salaries of judges. They earn 1 million plus. A professor in the university does not earn up to 500,000 naira.
Wow.
When I was doing my sabbatical in ICPC in Abuja, there were new graduates employed fresh. I asked, how much at the entry point, how much does this fresh graduate, per person, how much do they earn? They told me 400,000 naira. 400,000 naira. Imagine somebody that I lectured, I trained in the university, he has just got a job, 400,000 naira. The professor in the university, a long-standing professor, does not earn up to 500,000 naira. And the government is sitting down there saying that anytime ASU makes some noises and try to do something to attract the attention of the government is saying, well, you are too much. Why are you disturbing that ASU is doing this and all that? It is very unfair. So what I'm saying that from the government on its own, without even waiting for ASU to say, come implement this agreement and all that, they know what to do. They know how they are increasing their own salaries to reflect the changing reality of times. As I speak to you, the salaries of lecturers, professors and all, cannot take them home. That is the truth. And yet the government is expecting the best result from the universities. How is that possible?
That's $1 million question if you ask me. So let me ask this, Professor. What challenges then would you say hinder effective collective bargaining between ASU and the government or university administrations? Would you say it is politicking on the side of government, or would you say it's a lack of effective communication on the side of ASU? What do you think exactly is the challenge?
The challenge is that the government, really, the ASU is approaching every negotiation with an open mind, with the mind that, well, let's try it out, let's try to work it out. But the government on its side, the government does not have that open mind. In the beginning, the government may say that, well, let's go in there and try to negotiate and all that. But at the end of the day, just like I've told you, the government does not come out clean. So for you to enter into a negotiation, a collective bargaining, there must be, the two parties must do so with an open mind, in the spirit of give and take. But even when ASU has been given and taken in the processes, the government has not appreciated that. That is number one. And number two, of course, there's the issue of politicking, really. Politicking in the sense that that it's like, it is not just this government, it's successive governments, from military to civilian government. That is like, that appears to be a conspiracy. Because ASU is vocal. ASU, we have is a group of people that are into learning. We learn every day, all right? They dispense knowledge. So ASU is difficult to break. ASU will tell you straight away what it is. But the government appears not to like that. There appears to have been a grand conspiracy to impoverish ASU members, right? So that you make them, once you impoverish them, you pauperize them, then they will bow. But they will not bow, really, because knowledge is power. So that is the politicking, because if you are talking the spiritual realm, for example, if you say, for those who are spiritual, they will say it's an envious power. They are envious of ASU members, right? They are envious, and they want to keep us down. They know what to do to upgrade our salaries. To upgrade a professor earning 450,000 naira, that is $281.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, Professor, what would be the basis of envy, though? I don't understand. Why it should be a collaborative work and not, divide our country.
Envy. They don't like us because they know that we tell truth to power. They don't want people who they need sycophants around them. They don't want those who will look at the books, look at the statistics, and tell them the way it is, exactly the way it is. They don't want that. So somehow, indirectly, they are dealing with us. We know, quote unquote, they deal with us by saying, okay, since you are you are not confrontational because you are telling me what I don't really want to hear. That I will not give you what I'm supposed to give you. That is what I understand. It is in the spirit of that government is entering into negotiation with us with the hope, and ultimately they will not back out to say that look, it is not binding. It's not binding. And then when ASU goes on track, they will, of course, they will forum shop. They will go to the industrial court that we can invoke no work, no pay, and all that. It's all the same scheme of trying to impoverish ASU. Now, if you do that, how will the university system survive? And of course, I can understand. Most of these people, most of the government officials, most of them, their children, they are not even in the university here in this country. They send their children abroad to go to attend schools in the best of schools. And they don't, in most cases, they don't even use their own money. They use the money, government money, to do so.
All right, Dr. Simeon. Dr. Simeon, if I may come in here, there has always been this debate or this talk about making it a law for political leaders to have their children, children, study, finish their education in Nigeria. Maybe that will help them also improve education. What's your take on this?
Possibly, yeah, that would be fine. So that it's not just education. Yeah, they talk about medical tourism, for example. That you be, instead of you going abroad to go and seek medical attention, why not upgrade the facilities we have here so that you will do it here, and even those from outside of the country can even come here for some refuge. Yes, I support that there should be a law that if you are if you are not just a minister, if you are a government official, your children should come in here, should receive their education here in Nigeria. If you don't, you have a choice in the matter. If you are comfortable, you will be a minister. You will occupy your position. If you are not comfortable, then you vacate that seat.
That's a valid point.
Somehow we have to try to infuse some level of nationalism or patriotism in these people. And you appear as if that's my take.
Yeah, that's a valid point, Professor. We are wrapping this up. But quickly, though, in a minute, if you could answer this, why we want to talk about why it is important for this monster to be just silenced once and for all. What are the long-term implications of frequent ASU strikes for Nigeria's educational system?
There are so many implications, including the fact that the educational system will be unstable. And the students, of course, that will be affected, really. A student who has enrolled for a 4-year course, for example, may end up graduating after 7 years. And that is counterproductive. And also, it affect the system of education here in this country. We are always looking at the ranking, world ranking of universities and all that. And you see the ranking of where we don't even feature in the first 1,000 even. We don't feature because we don't have what it takes to compete with those other universities. And also, you see that with this kind of crisis, the government not doing the needful. It is difficult for the lecturers to work efficiently or effectively in the system. They are not properly remunerated, and even the key demand, the basic demand, the tools of trade are not available. And in many cases, it's like we are sacrificing all that we have. We sacrifice our material, we sacrifice ourselves for the system, and the government appears not to be appreciative. And without this, it will be difficult for the university to really be up there, to be in the list, in the global ranking, to be among the best of the best in the world.
All right, thank you very much. This is a safe place to land, Dr. Simeon Igbenedion. Thank you very much. We do appreciate it. And we hope that the federal government and ASU will come to a bargaining table and resolve this as soon as quickly.
I hope so. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, so that was quite interesting, and well, I hope that when two elephants fight, they say the grass suffers, and the people who are actually suffering are the students. The educational system is being destroyed. At a point, there was a call that JAMB keeps conducting exams for students while ASUU is on strike every year. Students are on strike.
You understand? So what happens, to these students that are supposed to resume school?
Supposed to resume school. You know, it's quite. That's why I asked that. I hope the body language of this new segment. Stick around. We have trending coming up shortly.
Bad production can kill a great content idea.
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915. High Impact Studios, the future.
At first glance, it looks like a celebration. A sea of smiles, cheers, and outstretched hands holding cards. This isn't just a moment of joy, it's a moment of recognition, accolades for well-deserving students. An initiative put together by Odiolowo Ojuwoye Local Council Development Area.
With this program, we are telling our youth, our children, the undergraduates, that in us, in the government of Odiolowo Local Council Development Area, you have effective support system.
Recipients say this is not their first rodeo.
This is not the first time I'll be a beneficiary of this local government. I collected my GCE 2018, collected my 2019 as well. Last year, I'm also part of the beneficiary. I collected 50,000 naira last year as well.
Well, I feel elated and happy. This is not my first time, it's not my second, this is my third. And I'm just happy to know that he sees everybody and then he makes promises and then he fulfills every promise he makes to us.
Because he has done a very great job in his tenure here. His years here is just, how would I say, appreciating. He's just too, like he's a lovely someone.
But wait, that's not all.
It's a two-in-one program. If you look at the support we are giving to sporting activities in all the schools, what we intend to do is to make sure that from primary or secondary school, they discover the talents in our youth and they direct their focus, their bubbly energy to something productive, that's something that will be of mutual benefit to them and the larger society, instead of allowing them to use it to unleash terror on the innocent residents of the local government.
The consensus then is giving back to the society is the most powerful form of motivation.
So that we can use it for this one.
Vivian Uguche for High Impact TV. Well, this was an event my colleague Christabel and I covered just yesterday, of course, with Victoria. It was quite palpable, you know. You heard residents of community members singing the praise of the LCDA chairman and saying that it is a powerful thing to give back to society. I was there, and one of the things that caught my attention really was that these students kept saying, this is not the first time, this is not the second time, this is not the third time that the local government area, the LCDA, is taking care of itself. I think other people should take their cue. I don't know what you have to say, Olumide.
You know, just like you said, I've also been, they had this walk recently also that I covered also. So, you know, what do you call them? Ojuoye. I hope I got that. Ojuoye, local council development area. They are doing a lot. The chairman is doing a lot. We've had him here a couple of times talk about, you know, community development, and that is what it's all about. That is that's where democracy starts from, the community. And I like how they are, you know, trying as much as possible to see that the community benefits from the little resources, the little wealth that, you know, it's around them. Absolutely.
I mean, I remember there was a slogan that was repeatedly said yesterday when we covered the event. It was like, when you support the youth, you build a nation. You build a nation. Yeah, basically.
And you know, that's just what people want. They just want a better life, easier access to an infrastructure. That's all they want. Once you give them that, Nigerians we are jolly good people.
Easy. Nigerians are easy to please.
Easy to
now,
please.
like you heard the chairman say, it was a 2-in-1 event. Bursary for the students in tertiary education, support for pupils in secondary and primary schools. And then there was something else the chairman did. He dished out monies to head teachers, and he said this was for you to enjoy your December. It was simply beautiful to see how, you know, he was reaching out to the people, and they were reciprocating by saying, we are supporting you. It was a beautiful thing to watch.
It's quite interesting when, you know, we actually do these things. This is the little things that count. These little things, I think it doesn't. But, I mean, you can imagine the smile on the teacher's face going home with something in their pocket to celebrate Christmas. They would in turn give more to their job. They would in turn teach the students well. And people living around that community will be proud that, yes, I live in this particular community, and I'm proud that I live in this particular community.
There was something, okay, Christabel, I'm going to say this. There was something my colleague said, see, that she wishes that her local government chairman would do what he's doing. Now, it's not just your local government chairman. I wish mine, too, would do it. I mean, just make Nigerians happy. That's what Olumide just said. It takes a little to make a Nigerian happy. So, guys, take your cue. Yeah?
I think that's all we can take right now. Of course, let's go on a short break. And while we're at it, we will take the weather forecast. We'll be right back.
9694 or 0902 745.
Well, that's the size of our show today, and I hope you did enjoy breakfast. Well, if you did, keep it dead again with us, same time, same station. Until then, I am Vivian Oguche. Have a fantastic day ahead.
Many thanks to everyone who joined us, all our guests, all our special guests on the program, and everyone who took part to make sure that this program was a success. So let's do this again tomorrow, same time, same station. I am Olumide Shokoya. Enjoy the rest of your day.